Sound.
Well, we're getting it now.
There we go.
We got something. Getting something. Okay, I'm going to boom and boom. All right, how's that? Hey, look at that.
Right in the yellow.
Okay. Cool. Now, where's my desktop audio? Oh, yeah. See, I turned all that all the way down at the end of our last show.
Ah.
So we're going to do this again. All right. Yeah, that's what I'll do here. And. Ha! Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Silver Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, here today with...
D.W. McCann, the bard in the deck.
Alright, yep, he is my bard. You guys are my deck, and this... Oh, you guys aren't my deck, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, how are... Well, who? See, I've totally got word salad today, because I'm still recovering from con crud. However...
The con crud is real.
Yeah, you might want to take your mic back a little bit.
All right.
It's like way, way far away.
I get that, but I project.
Oh, that's
My
true.
natural state is projection.
Yeah, but I can turn you down.
All right.
I'm turning you down.
Many have tried to turn me down. I mean.
No, it's true. It's true. Many have tried, some have failed. But I have the power.
Power of Grayskull.
Yes, and no knowledge of how to use it right now. Anyway, how you guys doing today? Welcome to Tabletalk, and this is the show where we talk about our gaming experiences, theories of gaming, and again, part of nerd culture, especially considering a lot of the stuff that went down over the past weekend at San Diego Comic-Con
International
2018. So why am I going over the top with everything? Because I spent the weekend with a lot of voice actors and a lot of activists. So I can either do terrible impressions of things since I have no voice actor training, or I could get all political, and I just don't want. I'm too tired. I'm too tired. But thank you guys for showing up, and thank you, DW, for giving me the call this morning.
No problem. Thank you for seeing me a day earlier than our usual meet time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, unfortunately, good things are happening, but I've got a baby on the way, and because of that, I have certain obligations, like attending work-related baby showers. So that's why I got signed into tomorrow. So I'm going to my wife's work so that I can be there for our baby shower.
Awesome. And I want you guys to know that I haven't forgotten about you. I just have to go get my thing. So, yeah. I've got to go get my other monitor, so hold down the fort for about 90 seconds, and I'll be right back.
Okay, so I'm holding down the fort. Basically, for those of you who've never been to Comic-Con, that was a big thing for Solar got to go this year. I've gone for the past little over a decade now. Love it. I've had a couple of years I've missed, but the idea is, unlike most Comic-Cons, which do tend to focus on comics, Comic-Con International has become kind of an all-media base. I mean, it's not just comics, it's cartoons, it's movies, it's TV shows, it's any experience in entertainment that's coming out in the next while is going to try and have a presence at Comic-Con. And the Comic-Con experience has also grown larger than the convention hall itself, and now extends the whole front of the convention center, all of the buildings within. As a matter of fact, they actually took over a structure and turned it into Taco Bell from Demolition Man, where if you waited in line, which apparently from what I understand was about a 4-hour wait, you got a 4-course meal of Taco Bell food served similarly to how it was served in the movie, and it was the main course to advertise was the creation of the reintroduction of nacho fries, and apparently that was your dessert course. And I did ask, I did not wait in the line, I wasn't up for it, but I did ask, and yes, there were 3 seashells in the bathroom. So they apparently put a lot of effort into this. From everybody I talked to, they had fun If you aren't a fan of Taco Bell food to begin with, you might not have been as much a fan. But if you kind of grew, you know, all of my college years, I knew Taco Bell very well. And from my experience, that's apparently what you got. Welcome back, Solar.
Hey,
magically, nobody saw anything.
Yeah.
It was smooth.
Yeah, such a smooth transition. If you could adjust my camera just a little bit. Oh, hey, you take a look. Oh my God, I'm on the edge. One more step. Okay, that's good. No, not so far. Not so. Okay.
There you go.
Wow, I think that's the best frame up I've had. Yep. So, now that I'm back, we are activating the interactive machine so that I can say hi to the people in the Facebook, or not the Facebook.
Oh, that's what you had to go grab.
Yeah, I had to go get the stuff happening in the YouTube chat. I can't talk to these guys. Yeah, I can't talk to these guys unless I have a window up and the editing bay and the geography. It's just a mess. It's all a mess. It's all a mess. Magic happens through clutter. That's the way things go. So yeah, and I couldn't help but overhear that some of your friends had been invited to dinner at Taco Bell.
Not invited. No, it's you just got in line.
Forever.
I'm sure of some people, maybe like for publicity, were invited. None of the people I spoke with were of that group.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I saw the stuff on the outside, but I'm like, all right, I don't want to do LineCon. I want to do Comic-Con.
I get that, but some of the things, like I did not get to do much on Friday because I waited in line for the things I really wanted to do. So I recognized that there were going to be days I did that. There are ways to kind of shortcut the lines, organizing when you're planning on going, seeing things, meeting up with people who are able to hold a spot in line, people who are willing to get up earlier than you are. These are all ways to see things earlier, but I started my week off wrong by working a 13-hour day up in Simi before even heading down. So I missed preview night, missed half of the party I was prepaid to go to at that point.
Yeah.
But and that kind of set my speed a little off for the whole weekend.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, you surprised the crap out of me, cause I'm sitting up and I'm doing the interviews that I'm editing right now to put up on SoundCloud and maybe on YouTube, and then out of nowhere, like, are you not coming to the party? I'm like, what are you doing in San Diego? You said you weren't gonna be here tonight.
Yeah,
you know, and I had to find the club, which was the hard part, you know. So
yeah, it was a good party though. Ready Party 1 was put on by Legion M and Bernie, and it was a really good way to start off. I'm sad I missed the Library Bards performing. I did get to see them perform one song during the Flux Capacitors set. Flux Capacitors did a great job as well. The party itself was ran well. My compliments to Bernie Bregman for putting that on. And it was just it was a fun time. And he's talking about doing more parties like that next year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. That would seriously be awesome, especially since I'd be able to make them. Yeah. But man, there was so much going on.
Too much
this weekend.
Needed to be 2 weeks long so I can maybe possibly get to see half of it.
No. No. I feel like.
Hey, you can go for however long you want. I would be more than happy to go for the full 2 weeks.
I feel like an African that's just found out that you plan on leaving their party. No. No. Comic-Con being 2 weeks. You know, that's a thing. That's a thing that kills me. It's you know, you and I, we do a lot of events together. You know, Ren Fair, Burning Man, San Diego Comic-Con, just so many different things.
Yeah.
And every time I go to any of these things, I hear, yeah, it should really be like 2-3 weeks longer, but blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no.
No,
just no.
I agree with you on most of them. Fair is as long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Burning Man does not need to be longer. Comic-Con, the only reason why I made the comment was the fact that there is so much going on, and I try to pack so much into the days that I'm getting 4 hours of sleep a night. And seeing as much as I can in a day. Whereas if it was 2 weeks, I would pace myself better. I would take better care of myself, and I would see more than I got to see.
Right?
So,
there we go. Hi everybody in the chat. Man, you guys are killing it today. Seriously, they're totally on this Taco Bell kick right now, which is fine. But yeah, so I mean, quite seriously, We did so
Which,
much
just
stuff.
really quickly to touch on that,
Yeah.
there are videos online of the Taco Bell experience. So you can watch. I believe they had like robots serving your food and stuff. It was really designed on the plates that was very reminiscent of the movie.
Oh yeah, we pulled up pictures on Buster Recap.
Oh, there you go.
Because I had to show the henchmen. I had to show the henchmen what it looks like when the world looks like Taco Bell. You know, and he too
they won the
has
restaurant wars of I forget what year.
Oh yeah, they were the only ones to win the franchise war. Now all restaurants are Taco Bell. But yeah, so many adventures.
Mm-hmm.
I did a good amount of time in line because I'm like, you know what? When I was in my 20s and I was going to Comic-Con every year, you know, regardless of whether or not I had a place to stay, the one thing I never did was camped all night for a line.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? Even before the days of YouTube, I'm like, I don't really need to see, God, what was big back then? Like, I really did not need to see X-Men 2's trailer that bad. You know, I didn't need to see Sam Raimi's Spider-Man debut. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna go see it in the movies. That's where I'll go see it. And I think in all my years of Comic-Con, I only physically saw one panel, and that was with our friend the Pirate Princess. And I think that was my last year going to Comic-Con. And it was the Futurama panel, which was pretty awesome because before that panel, I didn't get Futurama. Well, I was waiting for the classic setup punch comedy writing, and it's not written that way. And as soon as I saw that it wasn't written that way, thanks to the panel of all the cast and all that stuff, I actually started enjoying the show. I'm like, oh, I get it. Kind of like how I hated Arrested Development because I didn't know it was a comedy. I just put on a DVD while I was house sitting, and I'm like, what is this? These are
It's
terrible.
development, but it's been arrested.
No, cute. No, I'm just like, these are terrible, terrible, terrible people doing terrible things and not really suffering any consequences for their terrible things.
But that's most of the shows nowadays. That's a very common thread of the people we're supposed to cheer for seem to be horrible, horrible people.
Yeah, well,
more and more often.
That's kind of why I don't watch TV. You know, that's why Netflix is my place, man. I'm like, oh, look at that TV show. I shall watch it. Aha, aha. But when my main character that I'm supposed to root for is King Crab of Turd Mountain, I like to watch that king fall. That's why I like BoJack Horseman so hard. And I do. I really do. I'm like, oh, look, he's growing. Despite himself, he's becoming a better person. Not that I have personal issues. Yeah, that's one of the major things. Although, I was so happy to see Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon's presence there, with the Steven Universe stuff.
Oh yeah, that was a big display for Steven Universe.
Oh yeah, well that's actually one of my favorite cartoons.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a fat kid that wants to be nice, do the right thing, and solve problems, interstellar war type problems, with conversation. I can't lose. Oh, we're losing Pickled. All right, well, thanks, Dragon. Thanks for showing up, man. But yeah, so big shout out to the Pickled Dragon. Yeah, that's your face. Look at your face. Oh yeah, look at your face. So yeah, but man,
take that switch away from you.
No, never. You know, well, you can take that switch away from me as soon as the people that are watching can actually start donating to our GoFundMe, which is down there in the description, so that we can get better switches, so that we can stop the pausing and stuff in between, and working on better sound, monetizing the website. But you know, they can really help us out with all that stuff, and we're getting more watchers from time to time, and we appreciate that. So like, subscribe, share,
comment after the video is done on the YouTube page,
and you may
win an item.
Yes, because it We just left Comic-Con, and the big thing about the San Diego Comic Convention,
The swag.
so much swag.
The swag.
So much swag. And you know what? This is how I know I was ill prepared.
How?
One, I took the motorcycle. Okay? I took the motorcycle out there. I was not prepared for the swag.
No, you were not. No,
Because
you were
not only do you get swag at Comic-Con, it's all big. They're like, hey, look, I'm going to give you these itty-bitty little things and a big old bag to carry around with. Just, oh, look, I can fit your 6-year-old in the bag because I'm from Dark Horse Comics.
I don't know that I'd noticed it before, but my compliments to FedEx for having a shipping spot in the convention hall.
It's
so when you go buy your giant toy from Hasbro, you can just ship it to yourself and not need to worry about getting it to your car. That's actually, for the longest time, the reason I would pay for parking at the spot was so that I could take something large back to my car and store it.
Yeah.
But now parking is at $60, I think, for a day.
Oh, dude.
So,
yeah.
Parking for the run,
And
I'm
it's
now at the
4
point
days,
where
so we're talking $240.
well, $5 if you do a preview night.
Yeah, so honestly,
I'm at the point right now where I tend to just Uber in and Uber out and use their bag check.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a way to get by, but if you can get that parking, it's a lot easier, especially if you do plan on either getting some of the exclusives, which are not swag. You pay for these exclusives. You get some of those, they're huge.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Like there are a few of them that I'm like, I would love to own that. I just don't feel like getting in line to get that. They did it a little easier this year, though. You signed up to get your chance to get in line to get swag, to get the exclusives.
So wait, you filled out an application.
Yes.
To stand in line for a chance to get a thing.
My understanding was if you filled out the application, you got to, and you were picked, you got to stand in line and get, not for a chance. In other words, the way I understood it, correct me if I'm wrong, people, but the way I understood it is if you were selected, when you got in line, you were going to get it. It wasn't a chance. So the idea was to try and reduce the lines so that people, when they got in line, knew whether or not they were going to get something.
Yeah.
I think that was the idea behind it.
Well, I am going to say, you know, I was a kid when the California lottery was made legal. Sadly, I'd already read the short story, The Lottery, so I've always had a little bit of a problem where it's like, well, here's a random thing, so you might get picked, but if you don't get picked...
But I mean, they were doing that before. They were just doing it on site. I remember going to the signing for Neil Gaiman, and they had a bag that you literally just reached in the bag and you pulled out a chip, and if the chip said you got to go to the signing, you get to go to the signing. If the chip doesn't say you get to go to the signing, you don't get to go to the signing.
Then you get stoned by the rest of the people in line trying to get to go to the signing.
The other thing is if the line's short enough, you could just keep getting back in line until they have their full amount.
Or until they bludgeon you to shit with great big rocks.
But they usually wait until you get the right chip before they do that.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
For Neil Gaiman,
I spent a lot of time at the con. People kept asking like, "Oh my God, did you go to Holiday?" And I'm like, "Okay, any given day at the con, there is literally over 100 panels at any given time, because there are the panels at the convention center proper, there were the panels at the Hyatt, there were the panels at the Marriott, and there were the panels at the Hilton.
And then there's also several different groups that have put together panels off-site. I think Nerd HQ is still going with panels. I think that maybe Wired had some panels. So I mean, there are panels upon panels upon panels.
Yeah.
There's probably a panel about going to panels and how to wait in line best.
You know, we should totally put that together.
I don't want to have to wait in line for another panel.
That's true. We'd have to wait in line. We'd have to wait in line to get our panel approved about waiting in line for panels.
No, there's a lottery for that.
But yeah, so as far as being unprepared, I took the motorcycle out, as you know. And people were like, yeah, so where are you parked? And I'm like, I'm parked at the Hilton, which is on the east side of the convention center.
Yep.
Like, I had the third best parking that was possible at the convention. I couldn't get in to the convention center parking lot. They were not having that shit. But one of the reasons I ride a motorcycle, Deckers, is because I live in a city with impacted parking. And when you are on a motorcycle, you just need one guy to park like a feminine hygiene product, and you've got a parking space. It's perfectly cool. Just one person. That one guy that takes up 2 spots, well, then you've got a parking spot in front of him and one behind him. And so, living in a city with impacted parking, that's a huge deal. Other perks is that I don't have to pay for parking at hotels. Okay? So when the Hilton was like, oh my God, it's so full up, blah, 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 I rode around to the entrance and I'm like, hey, am I good? They're like, yeah, put it right there. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. Went on in because motorcycles are not heavy enough to trip the sensor for the little raising arm and ticket. So we just ride around it, park it. That's why whenever you go to a government building or something, unless there's specifically marked out motorcycle parking, there's always like 5 motorcycles directly when you walk up to the cashier, because that's where we go. And the best part is that we have those on every floor of covered parking. So I was good as far as parking. Now, as far as hauling,
Yeah. Well, I originally was offering to, step in on that point and take some stuff home for you, but I meant take it all the way home, and then you gave me a bag that you wanted me to bring back the next day, was because you had a podcast on Monday, and it was a lot of your recording equipment.
And not just that, it was I'd lost a bunch of stuff, and the replacements were in the bag.
True, and when you lost that after you had given me that bag.
Yes. So it was very much the, okay, cool, now I've lightened my load. And just, Con! Yeah. Okay, I need you to bring that stuff back. But I did learn a lot over the course of this weekend. I learned a lot. I learned a lot over the course of the weekend. Like, I'm not taking the whole damn studio with me when I planned on doing live cast, like some of our shows from Con. And the one place I found that I could had no internet signal.
And I'd like to take a moment to speak directly to the bastard that stole the dice bag of the Cinematic Sorcerer. You're a jerk, you're an ass, and I hope you burn in hell.
I'd like to addendum to that. I take all that back because thank you for turning it into the Lost and Found.
Oh, they did!
Yes.
Okay. Did they take anything out of it? You didn't tell me that part.
No, I posted it.
And did I not tell you before I got here that I've slept most of the last 2 days to recover from the con?
I posted
I haven't even read
at the con.
I didn't read.
It's on Decker's.
I didn't read. I didn't post the whole time I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't make it online. That's part of my feeling of being out of whack. I didn't get online much. I constantly felt behind the 8 ball. I was late to everything.
Gotcha.
I was supposed to go to a NEGAN meetup. They had all of these NEGANs and everything. I was all
waited
dressed
for
to go
you
in
with
it.
that thing.
I got there 10 minutes after they took the photo.
Yeah, because
they did interview me for the AMC thing, but and then the book that they were giving out, it was down to me and this other guy who was telling me while we were standing there how much Negan was his favorite character, and Carol is my favorite character, but I can't cosplay Carol.
No, you can't.
I could. I feel more comfortable cosplaying Negan. I cosplayed Negan, and we were in line, and they walked up. They handed me one book left.
See, the truth is, you can't cosplay Carol, not because of your gender, not because of your size, but because you put off an air of too likable. Because Carol is evil. She is so
She's not evil. Oh God, I disagree completely. But but that's acting. That's the acting part of some people who cosplay, is doing something that's contrary to their personality.
That's true.
So I don't think Carol is contrary to necessarily that much. I don't think she's evil. I think she's a survivor, possibly one of the best survivors on the show. Like but no. So anyways, they handed me one book. And I gave it to the kid because he was very clearly much bigger fan of Negan specifically, but it was the quotable Negan, and I'm gonna have to find my own copy. No, just everything I tried to head to, I was just a little bit behind the time. I even tried. A friend of mine had a dress in the fashion show, and I wanted to go support her, and I got there probably 10-15 minutes after they closed the definitely in line. I got in the standby line, and nope, not even a hope or prayer that I was gonna get in there.
Yeah,
I had a friend of mine holding a seat, but it just wasn't going to happen.
Now look, if you take a look here, see right there, it's look at what the Lost and Found had.
So you posted that as a comment in your own post.
On the post about it getting stolen.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I didn't comment on that, it doesn't tell me that.
Oh.
So I have no reason to go back and check the comments of your post.
Okay. See,
Since I was speaking with you, I don't need to comment on Facebook as well as actually speak to you.
That's true. And I hardly saw you that day. Yeah, I found it.
Good.
After I'd gotten my bag from you from the Jack Reacher experience.
Okay, Jack Reacher, not Jack Reacher.
Yeah, sorry.
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, Jack Reacher. All these JR action people that are a whole bunch of that kind. I'm just. It's a white guy that blows stuff up.
All right.
It could be Hawkeye.
All right.
I don't know.
I take back my threats to the person that stole your bag, and I'm glad you got everything back.
Yeah.
I thought that's where the story ended.
I think one of my favorite parts in it was when I went to the Lost and Found. I literally just went to the Lost and Found on a whim. I was heading back to my motorcycle, and I had to pass the Lost and Found to do it. So I'm like,
it's always worth checking.
If it's not there, I've wasted 3 minutes of standing inside in the air conditioning. Oh no. You know? So essentially, I went over there, and the two young ladies that were there, you know, were really pretty. However, I'm like, they're like, so and I'm like, did anybody turn in a green Crown Royal bag with a half a pound of dice, 15 back in the deck, keychains, 1 Belkin green and white phone charger, and also Honda car keys with the bag? And they're like, you know everything that's in there. I'm like, it's mine. But what I didn't want to say, because one of the girls were black in line, and she kind of understood. And this is when a person of color in a city as homogenous as San Diego goes to the Lost and Found, we got to know everything to the nanosecond, because there's always an undercurrent of doubt. You know, it's always that, yeah, I came here to get this thing. And it's like, how do I know it's yours? Let me see your ID. Let me see this ID. Let me see that ID. Now, open your mouth. We're going to swab the inside. Now, the test results will be back in 3.5 weeks. And, yeah, there's a fan, like, right at your feet.
I know, and it's pointed at me.
Okay.
It's just warm.
Okay, well, here.
It's going to be
I know.
Today is going to be the hottest day of the week.
Okay.
And I'm not I am a person who generates my own heat.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that.
I had a very brief time during my cancer treatments that I'd lost so much weight, I learned what it was to actually be cold. Mm-hmm. But normally that is not my experience.
Yeah, no, that's a real.
It was unusual because I lost all the hair on the back of my neck, and the first breeze that went over there, I didn't realize that the little bit of hair that you have, like, I don't have visible hair. I'm not a particularly hairy backed person, but that little bit of hair, it warms you much more than you think. And the first breeze that went across my hairless neck just sent shivers down my spine in an experience I have not ever had before that.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's, you know, some people are like, you know, you should really cut your hair. I'm like, I ain't had short hair since the LA riots. So I see the future. Zip, zip. Okay, I'm going, oh my God! Oh, it hurts all the time. So I'm not going to put myself through that.
No, see, and me on the opposite end of that spectrum, I actually decided to shave it all off after the con to make sure that I can survive this heat wave.
Yeah, because you're in the valley. So it
was 104 yesterday. It's supposed to be somewhere around 108 today.
Yeah. Sorry, we got Vixen in the comments going, if you're the father, then we'll give you your dice bag back. But yeah, so I mean, it became a thing. But I want to talk about some of the experiences that we had.
Oh yeah.
Because you and I did some adventures. You were there doing some stuff with the Game of Games of the Steve Jackson.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Well, no, actually not Steve Jackson. Slugfest this time around.
Slugfest. Okay.
Yeah, I've done demoing for AEG, Slugfest, and Steve Jackson this time around. I was there for Slugfest, which does Red Dragon Inn and Battle for Greyport, and we were running sessions of Red Dragon Inn and teaching people that if you play it with actual
name is supposed to be.
Don't pick. That is loud.
Yeah.
If you decide to do it with actual alcohol, be sure you pick a character that does not heal their own alcohol content, because you can't. unless you plan on doing some sort of induced vomit trick or something that makes people not want to play with you to begin with.
Right.
But you can play it with actual alcohol. You just got, there's certain characters you have to eliminate, otherwise it gets ridiculous. And don't do full shots with each drink, because 20 shots in an hour-and-a-half game would probably kill you. So be wise about anything. Anytime you're adding alcohol into anything, be wise about how you do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely there.
But I was not there to teach the alcohol portion of the game. I was there to teach the game portion of the game. And I also walked around and saw a whole bunch of other games that were going on.
Not while the sun was up. I'm just going to say that.
I drank very little, as a matter of fact. I had like a drink a night.
Okay.
I think I had 2 drinks the night we went to the whiskey bar, because I wanted to try specifically a Pogue whiskey.
Oh, yeah. And you had an Irish coffee with me.
I bet that was the only thing I had that night.
And yeah, so I needed coffee, and you're like, coffee is good. I will have an Irish one. And I'm like, oh, okay, man.
Pour a little whiskey in that for me. I drink professionally.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, I ended up doing a little bit of game stuff over at the Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because there's a lot of stuff on the internet, like introverts need to recharge their energy by being by themselves. Pretty much it reads to me like, I'm awkward, I don't want to be around people, and I don't want to learn, so leave me alone. And that's only because I'm an extrovert.
Understood.
So
as somebody who has my introvert tendencies, there is a certain amount of exhaustion that comes from interacting with a lot of people and having that moment of quiet, that moment. Think of it more of a meditation. Think of it more of a centering and a grounding, so that you can rebuild the energy that an introvert has to expend to just put themselves out there.
I get that. I get that a lot. It's just a matter, you know how I am with balance. Mm-hmm. And remember, the first lesson of magic and everything else is it's not about you.
Yeah.
So, but I was dead on my feet. And I ran into Danica Shade and Random McDudebro or Random McGuy, and her partner.
I hope his name is Rando.
Yeah, actually, that's what she calls him. She calls him Rando.
Sure.
And fortunately, I was there with Rando's wife, and I told her long ago, I want to teach you how to play HeroClix because Rando plays competitively, and I know for a new player, that could be hard to learn from. Because when the emphasis is on winning through tactics and strategy, then learning rules is very difficult. Because competitive players tend to teach only the shortcuts and only the tactics that work, but they don't teach how the game works. They teach how the team works.
I agree. And I've actually become a fan of the types of board games. I know you're going to talk about HeroClix specifically, but the type of board games that are coming up with ways of one person versus many.
Yes.
Because it allows the seasoned person to still have the challenge factor, but the many can then help each other and make sure they're understanding the rules and why something works and work out strategies. So like the new Jurassic Park Danger game one person plays the dinosaurs, everybody else plays everybody else. And you got to get 3 off the island. Or Red Dragon Inn now has a villain deck that you can play the villain versus everybody else, and the villain gets more life and gets abilities that affect everybody, so it allows that same thing. But so with HeroClix though,
well, I remember the first time I played the World of Warcraft CCG, and it was everyone against Onyxia, and I'm like, yes, because one, I'm a blackjack player, not poker. I want the 8 of us taking down the house. That's where I'm at. But when it comes to a game competitive like HeroClix, he's trying to teach her, she's trying to win, but learning the rules gets lost in the magma. I don't want to say the anathema, but let's call it the ether. And I was literally like doing the 1,000-yard stare. I was dead. I was dead to the world when I was trying to teach her, and she's like, well, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you've got analysis paralysis. I taught her with the Deadpool Fast Forces versus the Avengers organized play prize. Okay, so it was 300 points of Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. That's it. Versus X-Force. Except I dumped Deadpool and brought on Wolverine because I role play. And if I have Deadpool on the board in any game, I don't shut up. I was telling the viewers a few weeks ago, I was playing that very team with my girlfriend. Well, she was playing the X-Force. I was playing Wakanda. And I just kept speaking for Deadpool. I'm like, hey, Panther, are your trash cans made of vibranium? Is that what you gave Captain America? You said get this man a shield. You could have gave him a trash can lid. It's what he was throwing around before, right? I saw First Avenger. You know, I do that all game. And as she was like, I don't know what to do. And I started getting a 1,000-yard stare. I'm just like, oh, going to sleep. I'm like, wait, stop. Stop trying to win. What would these characters do? And as soon as she interacted and another person interacted, then I was an adult playing with toys. And I'm like, no, look at all that. I'm the best at what I do, and what I do ain't pretty. But you weren't like that in World War II. Shut up, Cap. Shut up. Times have changed. This is the 21st century. We're not all altruistic. But you should be. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to go smoke and feel sorry for myself. You know? And by the end of the lesson, I left the Marriott like I had 6 hours of sleep. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go do this. Which was good because the air conditioning was turned up so high. I felt like a lizard in a damn freezer. I wanted to go to sleep at that point. So there was that. So yeah, I mean, you did your stuff on the game floor. And
I did my stuff on the game floor. I also, I love the fact that escape rooms are becoming more and more a thing at these conventions. I didn't get to do the South Park one. I really, really wanted to, but the line was too long when on the last day I was able to go. I wasn't able to plan it well. Again, as I mentioned, I felt a day late and $1 short for everything. But I did get to do the one at Jack Ryan, and that was when I was dropping off your bag for you. We were in line for that, and they incorporated so many factors into that, where you had a radio that you found at one point, and Jack Ryan would talk to you across the radio because you were supposed to be operatives of it. And I figured they'd get like a soundbite that was the actor who plays Jack Ryan, just like a soundbite that they would play when it was time to get that clue. Except for the fact that one of the points when we made a decision not to fire missiles, the guy came across, I was dressed as Negan, and it said, way to go, Leather Daddy, you're right. You shouldn't have fired those missiles. Like, it was all interactive. Because this was put on by Amazon, the Echo, Alexa was in there. There was a point where you were dealing with Command Center, and it was somebody on camera on an Alexa product talking to you. I thought they were going to work a way of the prize coming in through that. But I mean, sorry, the clues coming in through that, but that didn't happen as much. But it was a great system. We did really well on it. We got 11 minutes almost to the button. Nice. And apparently the record was 10 minutes and 10 seconds, beaten only by a team that got 9 minutes and change. That was a group of actual Marines who do this stuff for a living. So we're gonna give them their score as standing on its own. Nobody was trying to beat that one that didn't have that kind of training. So 11 minutes is not a bad time. But the thing that I did note was one of the rooms, they dropped money on us, and there were clues on the $10 bills. But it was very clear that $10 were fake. So we were grabbing up stuff. We looked. We found the clue on the $10. We used it to get, it was the code for the door. We used it. We got out. Some people stayed behind and grabbed money. And I'm like, no, let's get to the next clue. They're not going to let us keep that. They need to reset that. Because in my mind, having worked these kinds of rooms, they're going to need that to reset. Right. So we get through the whole thing, and they say, okay, everybody, give us back the 10s. Everything else is real.
Oh, well, that's...
And so one of the girls that had collected $22. Another guy had collected something like $13. They said in one of the groups a 20 dropped. It's random as to what kind of cash has dropped. The $10 are the only things that are fake. And so everybody made money in that thing. I didn't take any, but because they had made me leader of the group, when I noticed that she had a $2 bill in there, I collect $2 bills, and she agreed to give me the $2 bill from the batch of money that she had taken.
Nice.
But because she pointed out, somebody's like, well, are you going to share? And the point was that she made was essentially, and okay, if I share this, well, no, it's if I share this, everybody walks away with $1.
Okay.
Or in that case, $2, because there were 11 of us, I think, in that group.
All right.
So it wouldn't have been a lot of money, and I mean, she had the presence of mind to do it. I had to yield on that. But she gave it to me as essentially I was the leader of the group. There were a couple of decisions I had to make that helped us get out of there in the time we got out of there.
Nice.
And see the ending that we were able to see. There were a couple of things that we chose, like not freeing the prisoner, that wouldn't have changed anything, but the launching of the missiles would have changed things. And those were decisions that came to me as the leader. There was another guy who was a leader, but he wasn't as vocal.
Okay.
Or I might have been speaking over him, but he seemed happy at the end, so I don't think I spoke over him. I tried to listen to him. I tried to encourage him a couple of times to mention things.
Yeah, see, I've never been a big fan of escape rooms.
Oh, I love him. Love him.
I saw that there were many escape rooms, but I was not very I'm not really a, hey, you're stuck in this room with a bunch of people you don't know. Now it's time to get out. I called that college.
Well, it's puzzle solving, and it's group puzzle solving. So, for instance, we walk into the first room, and I didn't realize that the tape on the discs were blacklight reactive, but I could see the difference in the paint color, so I'm already lining them up and encouraging them to line them up. I saw the X's and do all this, and then somebody figures out a button that turns on the black light. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's so much easier. But we were already halfway done before anybody figured out to turn on that light. And it gave us the exact coordinates of where to pull and plug this thing in. And you're calling out, what you found and realize somebody found a magnet. Great. I've got an X over here. Use that magnet to pull this thing out of this tube. And we could only get it about halfway, but we had a guy who had really skinny arms. He just reached in the tube, grabbed it, and pulled it out. But nice. it was that using everybody else's skills. And there's a point where we got pulled into a room and they said, who's the leader of this group? And they all pointed at me like, that's it, you're out of here. And they took me out of the room and put me in a separate room with the other prisoner and handcuffed me to a chair. And they're in a room, I have to get information to them that I'm getting while in this room.
Okay. And
we managed to get the information through using just Morse code, essentially.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, so you did have a good time. I was so nervous because of the whole backpack thing. Like, just to give you guys a little thing, I was supposed to meet him in line at like 8:30, and I had actually passed out so hard I didn't hear my phone ringing, and no one sitting around me was like, hey, your phone's ringing. And so I finally hear the phone. I'm like, huh? And he's like, they might not let me in, and I don't want this to screw my day. And I'm like, I'll be there. And I got on the motorcycle. I drove around down the perimeter of the gas lamp district because all of the quick ways there were closed off. They closed off an hour early.
Yep.
And so I got there and I'm like, you, security guard, where's the end of this ride? And they're like, over here. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I finally got to the very, very end. And I'm just talking with the security guy in front of 2 San Diego PD. And I'm like, I'm illegally parked. I'm in a city I don't know. I look like trouble. Like, if not for my Comic-Con badge, it really would have been, could you step over here for a moment, sir? And I made really good friends with most of the security. Because
it's the way to do it.
Well, they're the
best people there.
They were all young black guys and young black women that were shuttled in from all over SoCal. Like, they would send a shuttle to San Bernardino at 4 in the morning and take them down to work the convention, and then at like 1 in the afternoon they would shuttle them back. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? You got to do the thing. So the security guy was like, no, you good. But the cops were like, I don't know about this guy, and the security guy's like, nah, he good. And that was when you saw me in line, and you were like, okay, yeah, here's your bag. I'm like, all right, cool, there's my bag. And I'm like, all right, good. I didn't ruin your day, and I rode away.
Well, and the main reason I had any concern at all was the fact that I'm standing in line to go in.
3 hours.
Well, yeah. No, not 3 hours. It was only, we did an hour outside. Well, actually, like 45 minutes outside, and then we were 2 hours inside. So yeah, I guess that is almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Anyways, but because that was 2 hour wait once we got inside. And my concern was getting inside because while security had all walked up to me, checked the foam NEGAN bat that I had, and were like, looks really impressive. No, that's fake. You're fine. Everything's good.
Now,
go on your way. No, but the thing is one woman beelined to me. That's not getting in here.
Oh, the bat?
It's foam. No. You could hit things with that. You could do things with that. That's not getting in here. And I'm sitting there, the woman, actually 2 people in front of me, is actually getting angrier about this than I am.
Right.
Because people are walking in with poster tubes that can just as easily hit and break something. Like, a woman was let in who was cosplaying Rey, and she had a plastic staff.
Okay.
That plastic staff, if it breaks, is jagged now, and like, that's a legit, could be used as a weapon. I've got a foam bat that barely has a core to it. It wobbles when you swing it.
Yeah, it does.
It just looks photo accurate, and so she was more scared of the look of it. And so when I did get in, because one of the guys actually, she was telling me that I had to it couldn't come in at all. And then I just leave it at the fence. I'm like, it's going to walk away. Nobody's going to just leave this bat sitting there and not do anything to it.
No, this is a ground score if ever there was.
Could I at least put it inside the fence? Leave it here where I'll come back and get it after the thing. And she's like, I don't know. Yeah, fine. And one of the security guys that had already okayed me with the bat walked up and said, I'll make sure it's still there.
Yeah.
And that guy, my props to you. Thank you very much for taking care of that.
The security people were, you had what I call a black moment. One of my old years at Comic-Con, I talked to one of the guys from Gotham Public Works, and I didn't do like any miniature painting and stuff, and he was the Joker. Okay, he's cosplaying as a Joker.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And he had his 357 painted gunmetal gray, and he's walking around con with it, just la la la, I'm the Joker, look at my gun, la la la. I hold that thing for 4 seconds, I get kicked out of the convention. You can't have that in. I'm like, it's a piece of plastic that I got from somebody that's been here all week. Well, you just can't walk in here with that. And I'm like, oh, I get it. You don't, okay. You're afraid that okay, yeah, I totally get you. And they're afraid of the appearance. Like, they have a visceral reaction to whatever, and
if it appears as a threat.
Yeah, and so you have to pay the consequence for that. And that's one of the reasons I stopped cosplaying as well. Because your NEGAN was great. Your NEGAN was amazing. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. But I want to go back to the game.
But one last thing on that, though, is there was one guy who walked up to me, who was also on security inside, walked up to me like, what's NEGAN without his bat? Come on, man. So they actually wouldn't let me bring it in here. And I started to tell the story. He's like, I know exactly what that is. I'm not saying anything more. And walked away. So there apparently was one person on that security team who was a little happy to have some power.
We'll call them zealous.
Yes.
And I only had one zealot on security. Like, I only had one security guard check my badge and my ID at the same time. That's it. Just one. But I was there for 5 days. So 5 days, in and out, in and out, in and out, in the crowd, in the city, in the restaurants. I'm like, you know what?
One's not bad, and some of it is they do have to watch security, and badges are getting sold still, and they still have an aspect of fraud.
Yeah.
And the fact that they only did that once makes me feel like I'm glad they're looking, but they're not being ridiculous about it, and they're not being overbearing about it.
I gotta say, like, Stickman is honestly my hero when it comes to stuff like this, because he talks about airport security and how it's terrible, and how most security things really need to be like casino security. When you walk into a casino in Vegas or any other place, you are under constant scrutiny to the molecular level. They know which of your molecules are out of whack, and all you ever see are 2 dudes in suits over there. Over there. You don't see the billions of cameras, the 4 undercover people, the 8 chicks at the tables going through that, making sure you're not throwing signals to other tables. Like, you are... and I saw this, like, back when I was playing blackjack a lot for money. I had a great night. I walked in with 40. I walked out with 1,100. I walked back in, like, 2 weeks later, and by the time I sit at the table, and, you know, I walked out with that 1,100. I'm like, yep, now I get to go get my new motorcycle. I walked in like 3-4 weeks later, and security is like, sir, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. What did I do? And they took me to this dank room, and they pull up. They're like, is that you? Looks like that's definitely my jacket, because my motorcycle jacket was white and blue, and there aren't that many lighter colored motorcycle jackets, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely me. They're like, okay, good. You dropped this $100 chip last time you were here. I'm like, that was 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
You know, yeah. And I'm like, if that is not a great way to say, we got our eye on you, motherfucker.
That's almost worth it if you didn't drop a chip to just give you $100 to be like,
right?
Just so you know, we're gonna give you this $100 so that you know you're being watched.
Yeah.
We got you,
that's you
in our sights.
And
we know exactly when you were here last. We're going to be watching you like a hawk this time. And it's just going to get you $100 to know that.
Yeah. And
I appreciate that way of handling it.
Exactly. And but the thing was, it was almost a month before. And I didn't know I dropped that $100 chip because I walked in with 40, so I gave no, I did not care. I could have dropped $500 chips and not noticed because I walked in with $40. So I walk out with enough to buy the motorcycle to go on a date, and that's cool. And then I come back weeks later, and they're like, "Oh, you dropped this $100 chip. You have a good night at our tables." And I'm like, man, these guys are like watching me everywhere. Okay, cool. I'm glad I don't cheat at games, but I look at the people who try and come in with their systems.
Oh yeah.
And I give the old man head shake. But speaking of games, there were some independent game producers out there. One of which I ran into, called Safe Haven Games. And of course, since we are representing, you know, the people of color, women, LGBT, the disabled, and the poor, a place called Safe Haven jumped out at me pretty hard. You know?
Okay.
And they had a whole table in the game room on the other side from where you were showing Red Dragon. And excuse me, these guys, I did a live stream of it, but they have a game called Web Spinners. And as much as it looks like Settlers of Catan, it is a game, and of course this jumps out at me, where the main characters are spiders trying to eat mosquitoes. Because in the middle of the board here, that's standing water. It produces mosquitoes with a roll of a dice. And your spiders start on the outer edges, and as they move, they throw down webs, and then the mosquitoes move. And if the mosquitoes move through your web, you collect the mosquito, and they break the web. And
so you have to go back and repair that portion of the web, but you collected that mosquito.
Yeah.
That's really clever.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mancala. It's a nice, simple game. It's going on their website for $45. They had the anniversary edition, which was twice as big.
So do they use? So just from a quick look,
yes.
It looks like the color that's on the board. So you roll. They go through 2 of that color. So if a mosquito's on that thing, they'll go through blue, and then they'll go through blue.
No, when the mosquito is on a thing, you roll a die, and all the mosquitoes have to cross that color.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they have to cross from here to there.
Yeah,
on
that's what
that
I'm saying.
color.
If you roll orange, then they go across the orange side.
Yes, but all of them do.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And the number is how many mosquitoes get produced by the standing water.
Oh, okay. So I said that they had to go through 2 walls of that color. So it's 2 mosquitoes get produced, and all mosquitoes go through that color.
Yes, if they can. So I mean, it's again, I just explained to you how to play that. It's a very simple, very Mancala type game. Definitely worth the $45. And they're young guys that do it. They have other games that they produce. The one I was really trying to get back to, but I was just exhausted, was we're gonna check out it's called Prove It.
Okay.
Okay, and Prove It, deluxe edition, Omniverse. Prove It, yes. And it is essentially, it's a $25 game where each player is a conspiracy theorist trying to out-conspiracy and undo the other people's conspiracies.
Okay.
So let's say you say that the Loch Ness Monster is around, and there we go, gators in the sewers, and it's like, no, the gators aren't in the sewers. Bigfoot ate them. Prove it. You know, and it's a really fun type.
Unzoom out, because that's way too close of a zoom.
There we go. There we go. So yeah, let's take a look here.
Pixies 2V.
Yeah.
Evidence and one photograph. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So you collect your evidence, you try and prove the stuff, and I'm like, all right, that's really neat. So yeah, and again, these guys, they're San Diego local.
Cool.
So they're a local gaming company. The main guy is a young guy. On the BitP YouTube, I did a live playthrough with the creator of the game. The video quality is terrible. I did it from a phone. We're still learning as we go. Now that that's out of the way. But yeah, they're a really cool company. The stuff ships out of San Diego, so if you're in SoCal, you're going to get your stuff within a week. Hello. And yeah, we did some interviews with a lot of independent game developers, and that was really cool watching the guys get out there. So
yeah, I watched. It was actually a friend of mine who has produced some of the movies I've been in.
Yes.
Had a game there that was just impressive to see. I'm trying to organize him doing a playthrough with us. It's called Destiny Aurora, and it's based off of novels and a movie concept that he's been involved in. But the idea is that there's both space and planet travel. Ooh. So you are manning a spaceship, have 5 people at it. So you put people at different stations. But you're going to get a mission that means you have to go to the planet. So does the other ship. You have to decide how many people you're going to leave on the planet, because while your guys are running around the planet trying to do their mission, you still have a ship up in space, and the other ship can come and invade your ship. If you only have 2 people running it, if you set your gunner down, well, your secondary gunner isn't as good at shooting, and it affects the die rolls.
Nice.
It would look like it was really well put together, and I'm looking forward to doing a gameplay of it.
Well, we'll definitely take a look on that. So, yeah, a lot of independent stuff, and we had a really, really good time with those guys. But it's funny, there was a thing that came down from us, along with the independent game stuff and the panels. I ended up doing a lot of panels on diversity. There were a lot of game panels, a lot of African American panels. One thing about the game room that kind of made me feel racist was there was one game that was made. It was titled something. It was like definitely an Ebonics phrase. I think it was like "light it up" or something like that. But I'm like, all right, I'll take a look. And I swear to God, it wasn't a dude bra. It was a surfer guy that made it, and I'm like, I'm too tired to be diplomatic about this, because my SJW senses were going off, and I'm like, what was it? Race appropriation.
Yeah.
But, and I'm trying not to be that guy, but we are kind of running out of time. We're at an hour right now, and we still have one more segment, because I posted something out there, and people were like, "Oh my God, that is so cool," but I don't understand what that needed. So, and since you are here, and we talked about a thing, we're just gonna
all right. You guys are gonna see.
Yeah, we're gonna
what I did for my Saturday cosplay fun.
Yeah,
I also ran the games. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't play him during the time.
You know,
I took
I
a
wish
ton
you-
to take the jacket off.
I wish you'd stayed in character while you were showing the game.
If they had a Negan character in the game, if I was demoing a Walking Dead game, I would have run that game as Negan. But
I don't know if there would have been space with all the hip thrusting.
I like that we did discuss that he does walk with his crotch, but I definitely like playing Red Dragon in as the character I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is not a very Negan-esque character.
That's
otherwise, I
true.
would have.
That's true.
So I kind of took on the personas of the characters I played, which meant I kind of put Negan down for a minute. But when you showed up, I was wrapping up and putting the Negan back on.
Yeah.
And this happened.
So.
What my name is supposed to be?
You are Negan. I am Negan. We are all Negan.
No, I'm the cinematic sorcerer.
Who happens to be named Negan?
No, I'm Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer.
Oh, you're missing an opportunity, my friend. You be Negan, and the world opens up to you. You can see Lucille there in the background.
Yep.
Well, and with that, I'm gonna say, okay, crazy. Yeah. So, and with that, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that.
So yeah. There we go. Look at the Negan. That was so yeah. And that was you. Whole world opens up to you, huh? Yeah. Now again, not gonna lie, I quit watching Walking Dead right before the whole Negan war thing happened because I'm like, none of these people are people I like, except of course for King Ezekiel.
King Ezekiel was amazing.
Yeah, and honestly,
Still is.
Had my girlfriend been with me, we totally would have done the King Ezekiel with her as a furry. I mean, that's one of the things. We've got the tiger head already.
You as Ezekiel and her as Shiva would be amazing.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. I mean, that's one of the things, you know. But that relationship, that show is like an abusive relationship for me. I get so many people going, yeah, but just stick around and it gets so much better. You don't know it like I know it. You don't, and I'm like, yeah, no.
See, and for me, I've never felt the abusive relationship because I always had somebody that I actually did associate with and root with. For the longest time, it was Glenn. Okay. Glenn was the little gamer kid who he grew into his own, and watching that happen. And then Carol, for me, Carol had one instance where she made a bad choice, and she was banished from the group for it. When she came back to save their butt. And from then, she wasn't making those choices anymore. Almost as if she had learned by the punishment that she had been given that this group wasn't going to tolerate her acting that way. And even when she got to a point where the killing, because she's a total badass in a fight, there's a point they show her kind of about the time that Negan shows up where she goes through I can't do this anymore. I'm not okay with the fact that I've lost count of the number of people I've killed.
Right.
And if I stay around you, I'm going to have to kill more people to protect you because you aren't doing a very good job of protecting yourself. So I'm going to go away and live on my own where I'm the only person I have to protect because I don't want to have to kill anybody else.
Okay.
And then the whole Negan thing happens and it pulls her back in. But the concept of Negan is the first people you meet who say they are Negan, they're not doing that as a tactic to help throw off who is actually Negan. It's how he commands his generals.
Yeah.
When you get to the point that you answer the question, who are you, with I am Negan, then you have proven to him that you are one with the concept. You are one with the process, the plan. And he really does see himself as the hero. And I've always appreciated villains who don't think they're in the wrong, because that to me is a more real villain. Most villains think they're doing the right thing.
Right.
The way he's behaving, and when he kills somebody, he sees that as I'm killing this person so that you all realize that if you follow my game, then we're all going to survive. But this guy needs to die for you to learn that.
You mean they're doing it for the greater good? The greater good.
Oh, and he is all about he is, in his opinion, the greater good.
The greater good.
And so, yeah, it's an interesting concept with that. The idea of you have to kind of give up who you are and your agenda to be a part of the Negan agenda, which he believes is for everyone.
Okay. Oh. Okay, that was a good one. We got Nomi Jade out here.
Hey, Nomi!
And the saying, so if you're not Negan, is that Negan negging? No, it's not. I'm not negging Negan because I don't want Negan. I'm not Negan. Yeah, so, man. So, I mean, let's see. What else? What else did I say we were talking about today?
You can look on the list.
Oh,
what
trailers.
Trailers.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
trailers.
We saw several new trailers.
Yeah,
the Harry Potter trailer.
Yeah, we never got around to...
Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because this stuff, this thing right here, has got a lot of people up in arms. The Teen Titans trailer.
Okay.
Now, what are your thoughts on it as it stands?
I see that. To be diplomatic about it, I have not given it enough of a chance, mostly because I'm not a fan as much of that animation style. The chibi look has not been something I'm very fond of. I watched the original Teen Titans Go, and they had moments where they went chibi, and then it seems like the cartoon kind of went all chibi. And which is, it's an anime style where they kind of go more doll-like or cutesy or exaggerated expressions.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Teen Titans Go?
Oh, no. the Teen Titans.
Okay, then no, I haven't seen that. No, we're not talking about the same thing then.
No, we're not.
I didn't realize there was one for Teen Titans.
You're talking about the Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
like, look at us, hey,
Yeah.
when there's trouble.
So there's one for Teen Titans?
No, yeah, there is. This is the live action Teen
Let's see
Titans.
it.
So looks like we get a reaction video.
All
Ain't
right,
this
let's see
fun?
it.
So hang on, let me do this right. Because yeah, there we go. So yeah.
All right.
So let's make this a reaction video from the Bart and the Deck. Now, I will let you know that as it stands, it starts with a problem that I have, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
Fair enough.
so let's see what we can do here, and see, I can show it like this.
Who are you?
Everything led me here. To you. You're the boy from the circus.
It's playing there too. Wait, so they have the Grayson accident happen beginning of Teen Titans?
Please. Can you help me?
So that's Raven, I'm guessing.
Where's Batman? Fuck Batman.
There's something evil inside of me.
You're scared. I get it. But you can control it. You don't know what I've become.
Explains one thing I've been seeing.
Sometimes, when I feel the darkness, it feels good.
I want to see Beast Boy transform into something.
My mom says there's no such thing as monsters.
I used to think that. I was wrong.
So this is a TV show.
Yep.
Airing on what? Is it going to be online? Because the language doesn't seem like it's going to be on regular TV.
It could just be on their streaming service.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you can't say fuck Batman on TV.
Right. So yeah, a lot of people. Now I'm gonna let you know, the fact that it's mature themed already kills me.
Because the whole concept was creating something that the kids could like camaraderise with and feel represented them when you have the adult dark, superheroes, and then here's the ones that are our age going through our problems.
Yeah.
I mean, I read Teen Titans when I was a kid.
Yeah, and one of my big problems with the whole thing is the Titans of Marv Wolfman are just that, but they've always been even more hopeful than a lot of things in DC. Like, they've got some dark stories, do not get me wrong. Raven's dad being Satan, huge.
Oh, yeah.
The Judas contract was really dark and really scary. But I don't even mind the fact that Dick Grayson is kind of, I can't be, I need to be my own man, and if I stay with Batman, I'm going to be as dark and messed up as Batman. That's why he left.
I get that. My
And I'm not
problem
seeing
is
that here.
My problem is that we start off with the Grayson accident at the circus when that should be years after the fact. If he gets to the point that he's leaving Batman, it's not shortly after. That circus wouldn't still be standing for Raven to walk into unless she's going to be years older the next time we see her.
Well, we don't know if that's if it's a flashback.
Well, but
'Cause
they're
Raven is
showing
magic,
in the that's true. Raven is magic. You're right.
So, and again,
usually shows like this do a little bit of something of a framing or something like that to show that we're seeing a flashback or a change in camera focus.
Right.
So I would have expected that. So to help people know that.
Yeah.
But you also have Robin. You kind of aren't getting any of that relationship between Robin and Batman because we haven't had Robin and Batman to
on
watch.
screen. Yeah.
So I have a problem with that. Raven seems okay, but she seems a little mousier than I expect Raven to be. Raven I always kind of saw as a quiet, but knew that there was power here.
Yeah.
And this one seems a lot more like, I don't know, maybe I could do power.
I'm afraid of my power.
Yeah, that's not as much what I've seen, but different take. So there was a moment where we saw Starfire, and I had seen stuff online of people complaining of who's playing Starfire. From what I saw, absolutely no problem with that.
Right?
I think
kind of there.
she seems fine.
Well, colorism is a thing, though, but we'll get to
I get
that a bit later.
but you're also dealing with an alien who could be any color.
Yeah.
Like
you think?
That's,
oh my God!
I
Don't you go start making sense
your
of
fight.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for a certain amount of suspension of disbelief from where, okay, we've got a little girl who's, the daughter of Satan. But, when you got an alien and you're going to cast that alien can be anything. And, the fact that the character itself is drawn as orange, when you're doing this stuff, I have a problem with people who decide that it doesn't fit with what they were hoping for the character, and somehow I'm now not going to support this series, rather than just, okay, it's not what I had thought, but let's see what they do with it, which is where I come from with a lot of things.
Okay.
But they also had I didn't see a lot of Cyborg. I saw that he was in there. And I am entirely and thoroughly disappointed that we did not get to see one Beast Boy transformation.
Well,
you see Beast Boy jump, and I was expecting there to be a transformation, and they cut screen.
Well, there's not going to be a Cyborg. He's with the Justice League right now.
Well, it's true. We've already somehow screwed up the timeline in the fact that he was created by the thing that didn't happen until after Superman was dead. However, there's a video of him being created before Superman's... Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a thing. One of the things, though, is this looks too dark. This whole thing looks like DC is trying to be like Marvel Netflix, and I don't have a problem with that.
But then pick a different
platform.
Team. Yeah,
you've got the Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
you've got the Outsiders who are begging for that thing.
The other thing is, I thought that they were specifically not making. They specifically stated that they weren't crossing over their DC TV and online with their DC movies.
Well, they're not.
So you could do Cyborg.
Well,
you don't have to use that Cyborg as part of the Justice League because that's a different world to them.
It's not a matter of the narrative. It's a matter of the overexposure of a single character. Okay, you've got Cyborg over here. You've got Cyborg over here. They're already
when we stop having new Batman movies, then they can talk to me about the overexposure of a character.
They're already
Cyborg is a fantastic African American character that could use more exposure.
I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying that not just a cool black hero, but also a cool disabled hero.
Yeah,
I mean, he should be out there, but they're already having a lot of pushback because there is the TV Flash and there's the movie Flash. You've got two Flashes. That's already a thing.
Yeah, but this isn't even a main property. They're not giving Cyborg his own movie. So if you've already set precedents, but until they do, then you could have given him some time on the DC thing.
So
you're not at oversaturation. Matter of fact, it would give more people a chance to get to know that character, and more people that be then interested in a movie that is that character from the. You have opportunity that I feel they're missing.
You, and he has a fan base. But my problem with the dark is if they're going to go this dark, don't pick a team whose primary basis is hope, friendship, and the family that you chose. Pick the Outsiders. Pick the Doom Patrol, or as I like to call the Legion of Ugly Heroes, because their stuff they're led by a mad scientist who's a severed head on a freaking cookie sheet. They've got a robot guy.
You could have even done this with
a Scarred guy, and Beast Boy is part of the team too.
Yeah, well, you also could have done this with their what is the one that they did recently? The something of Tomorrow, League of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Legends of Tomorrow could have gone darker if they'd wanted to. Because that team, they went comedic.
Yeah,
and that's one of my problems with the Legends of Tomorrow is that they're taking characters that aren't necessarily comedic based and making them comedic based.
Okay, I can definitely see where you're going with that. So honestly, I got to give this trailer 2 pairs. Seriously, it's just, it's not. I'm not looking forward to watching this.
I'll give it 3 of a kind, with the permission to retract that if they don't one-up it by the show. Because the thing is,
we're talking about the trailer. We're not talking about the show.
Well, no,
just
but
the trailer.
Okay,
how does the trailer make you feel?
The trailer makes me to a certain extent, hopeful that they're going to do some of these characters in interesting lights. I'm really looking forward to how they play out Raven's connection to her father. I'm curious how they're going to play Beast Boy. Again, I think that's it, is something I've noticed with a lot of trailers, specifically TV show trailers lately, is they show a lot of stuff that if you already are aware of the properties, then you already know that thing, so we're not going to show that in this trailer.
Right.
And it's like, but I want to see those things. Somebody who doesn't know who Beast Boy is watches this trailer and like, okay, why is the guy green?
Right.
What's going on? Why is he leaping through the air? What is big about him? Okay, I've seen that he's Beast Boy. Great, so he's Beast.
Yeah.
He's going to be a green version of X-Men's Beast. Because those are what that trailer showed me if I had no knowledge of the character.
Okay.
You need to show him do a transition. You need to show a bit of his personality so that people who don't already follow the property are going to be interested in watching the show.
Okay. So are you sticking with that 3 of a kind, or are you changing?
No, if we're just judging based on that, there's too much left out. So yeah, I'd go 2-pair. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a 2-pair. We're not looking forward. Like, this trailer doesn't make us want to watch the show for pleasant reasons.
Yeah,
you know,
it's to hope that they improve it.
Yeah, so let's move on to our last trailer
of
the day. And this is a big one because, let's face it, the following. Now, I'm not going to lie. I confess, I didn't see the last movie.
Okay.
Because it's not my generation. My generation is Star Wars and Doctor Who. And this
one of the things that's impressed me with this series line, I've been very impressed with the fact that the stories have grown with their fans.
Yes.
So the books, each book seems to be written for an older audience. And these movies seem to be for that same audience now in their 20s. And I really enjoyed Fantastic Beasts. There were a couple of things that I was like, I wasn't a fan of how that was handled. But that's, minutia. Right. The overall thing was well handled, well acted. I was very pleased with what they did, and I'm looking forward to what they do with this one.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer. Okay. It's green.
I'm scared, Professor Dumbledore.
Everyone is scared of something.
Ridiculous!
Newt, you're up next. That's an unusual one. What Mr. Scamander fears above everything else is...
having to work in an office, sir.
Right?
Go ahead, Newt.
Ridiculous.
Magic blooms only in rare souls. Still, we must skulk in shadows.
They brought that back.
I like that Jude Law is playing a young.
But the old ways serve us no longer.
Nobody likes you anymore.
That was one of my issues. I'm not sure about the transition to
You've heard the rumors. Grindelwald had a vision that he would rise to dominance over the wizarding world.
So you're asking me to help hunt him down?
Interesting creatures.
I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you. In your shoes, I'd probably refuse to. It's late. Good evening, Newt. Oh, come on.
You underestimate your talents, Mr. Scamander.
Their arrogance is a key to our victory.
Muggles are not lesser. Not disposable.
Can't wait to see how they bring him back.
You're too good, Newt. You never met a monster you couldn't love.
Credence!
Mr. Scamander, do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you?
you a ghost?
No, I'm alive. But I'm an alchemist and therefore immortal.
Oh.
Nicolas Flamel.
Jacob Kowalski.
Oh.
Oh. You don't look a day over 375.
I have some questions for you, Professor.
This is a surprise.
There's a rumor that Newt Scamander is headed to Paris.
Is this the second one following it? This is the same scenes.
I know
like,
he's working
packed
on
two
your orbit.
trailers together. Yeah, 2 trailers. Okay.
What do you have to say for yourself?
'Cause this is the old one.
Dumbledore?
If you'd ever had the pleasure to teach him, you'd know Newt is not a great follower of orders.
Yeah. So.
I don't entirely understand why it's going under the name Fantastic Beasts and how to find them. Like, it made sense with the last one that he was working on his book, but supposedly by this movie he's handed in his book.
Right.
And they're just finding a reason to tie it together.
Well, honestly, this one, yeah, I mean, they call it Fantastic Beasts 2 and all that jazz.
Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is, yeah.
I get that. It doesn't that, and there's references to the Deathly Hallows, which I'm curious, since they've been supposedly missing this whole time, how they're working, and they keep using the symbols of the Deathly Hallows.
Well, yeah. Again, it's the same reason that Chewbacca was in freaking Revenge of the Sith. Just a little bit of, hey, still part of it. So like Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, kind of like Star Trek Into Darkness. Oh, sorry. Star Trek, Into Darkness, you know? Wow, I think my editor Shane would be like, oh my god, you understand the use of a semicolon. But yeah, so honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Okay, I didn't quite dig Eddie, Redmayne. I was a little, after 8 movies, I needed a break from that world.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I read all the books. I enjoyed all the books. I thought that Harry Potter was great, and it ended great, and the Deathly Hallows ended great. I loved that. Yeah, it grew with its audience, and by the end, I'm like, dude, that body count, and Neville was my man. And now, let's tell a story from a different part of that world. Okay, that's cool. This one shows Dumbledore in his 40s. Cool, very nice. Not really interested. Not my bag. And I do love the magic. Everybody knows I love the magic. I just needed a break from that world.
For me...
That being said, this trailer is a full house. I'm sorry. I'm really looking forward... Like, this trailer makes me want to watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Just so that when I go see this in November... Yeah, I mean, seriously, this is a full house.
There's certain things that, you're going to have to see the first one to understand the relationship of the guy that they show, the shorter guy. Understanding where Grindelwald came from in that movie is a big reveal. So seeing that movie leads to the Johnny Depp reveal. I don't know. There were things about the first one that I was hoping were going to be expanded upon in this one. For instance, seeing more of America's variations on wizards. And this seems to take place more in England again, or in Europe. I was really looking forward to seeing more of America. They only kind of touched on America in the last one. And not because I want to see specifically America, but just to see what another country handled. If this takes them to where... I forget the name of the more the guys from I want to say Stromgard or wherever it was, Durmstrang.
Okay.
Durmstrang. If they ended up there, I'd get to see what their houses were and what was in there. For me, it was a chance to see another world. Whereas by bringing it back to England and bringing Dumbledore into it, it seems like we're really making sure we tie this back to Harry Potter, and I don't think that was necessary. What I was enjoying was seeing the rest of the world. So I can't give it a full house. I think it looks beautiful, and I'm looking forward to it. I also kind of wish that they'd take a Farscape angle and do a little bit more practical, not just CGI. Have some of the puppets be more physically there for the actors.
Okay.
You know, talk to Jim Henson Productions and get some of their stuff in there. So that, combined with the disappointment of seeing how much of it seems to be taking place in Hogwarts and London, or England specifically, it has made me not want to see it, but a step down for me. So I'm going to call it for 3 of a kind. 3 of a kind.
I would say. Oh, whoa! I have a hand. So
you have a hand in my picture.
Yes. Yeah. So
I'm being invaded.
Yeah. So 3 of a kind. I can see that. I can. Having had the history that you have with it, I can see that. But let us know what you guys think about the trailers that we showed today and a lot of the games that we talked about. I want to thank you for showing up today, man. Seriously, this was a surprise and a well-needed one.
Yep. It had been too long since we've been able to meet up, especially with the week of Comic-Con kind of throwing everything into the works.
Oh, dear
so
God.
We're back.
We're bad. I'm black. He's mad.
2 weeks we'll be back.
Yeah.
And then hopefully as things pick up, as we're able to get more followers, as we're able to build stuff, we'll go to every week if we can.
That's what we're working on. I have a guy that I'm thinking about bringing in on Your Off Thursdays. I think he's going to be fun.
All right.
We'll see. Not that you're going to be replaced. I just might have to go for a 7th day of live casting. Oh no, not more content. But yeah, and thank you guys in the chat for showing up. Yeah, we got the chat guys down here. Thank you guys for SoundCloud for tuning in. Especially the stuff. And I want to give a shout out to Instagram. Instagram has been really helpful in getting the word out and letting us know. I thought it was supposed to be the Facebooks and the Twitters, because I'm doing the Facebook and the blah, 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 but the social media landscape changes so often. I need to have kids just so that they can help me keep up. I'm serious. I need to go back in time. I need a teenager to help me keep up and all that stuff. But if you guys think that joke was particularly bad, that's fine. Feel free to contact me at... Ooh, look at that. Yeah, feel free to contact us at backinthedeck@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on YouTube, YouTube/BidP. That's BID space P. Follow us on Twitter, because that's where we talk to the world from, at Back in the Deck. Hit us up on the Facebook on Deckers on the Book. That is our group where you guys can talk to us, show us your art, show us your miniatures, show us some of the stuff that you've been working on, give recommendation, and make more friends for yourself. On the SoundCloud, hit us up at SoundCloud/bid, BID_P. That's little b, little I, little d _P. And follow us on the Instagrams, like I just said, at Back in the Deck. And that way you can send us your questions, your suggestions for shows. Let us know the stuff that you guys want to talk about and your experiences as well. Because your voice matters. It matters to us. It matters to a lot of people in the world. You're not alone. And we're here to let you know that not only are you not alone, we're going to hook you guys up.
Yes, definitely.
So that is one of the things. So you got anything? Where can they get a hold of you, Mr. D?
Easiest ways to reach me are on Twitter at Bardic_DW, or you can reach me on Instagram at dw.bidp, BIDP. Especially on Instagram right now, where I'm running kind of a start of my series, which is going to be Merely Playing.
Okay.
Where we demo games and talk about some of the strategy for them for the first time that you play them. So every third picture on my Instagram is one of those gameplays. And so if you go to my main page and you scroll down one column, is all games that I have already reviewed and given some strategy ideas on.
Fantastic.
Although World of Warcraft had to take 2. But yeah, so those are the 2 best places to reach me.
Awesome blossom. And by my rod and staff, we're about to get out of here and get out of the heat. So again, like I said, and like I say at every Instagram and everything, thank you guys for showing up. And again, if you guys want to help, down there in the thingamabobber below in the description, we've got various links to donate some of your stuff to prison facilities. We're going to be working on more and more of the opening up clubs. This weekend was San Clemente's first, and we're going to be talking about that later on this week on Game Gallery. And finally, with the last announcement, the Anomaly Twitch starts on August 5th. That's right, August 5th is when the Anomaly Twitch is going to be starting. and that is going to be a fun thingamabobber. So
I'll be joining later. I'll hopefully be joining later.
We'll
I
see.
can't make the 5th one.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But, you know, we might not need you there for session 0. At the end of the day, I'm going to say, again, here's our information again. Hit us up at backinthedeck@gmail.com. Feel free to send us a letter and asking those questions that you guys are afraid to talk about in the chat. We totally understand. Having been yelled down online for so long by so many, it can be kind of daunting, but you know what? The people that start up those troll conversations, those are the ones that we use the band hammer with, because your voice matters and it will be heard here. And with that, I'm going to say, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or do the hobbies that you do based on your race, religion, creed, cultural background, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability levels, or your budget, you just tell them to take those cards and put it back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thanks for tuning in to our Wednesday edition of Table Talk.